What's going on, everybody? We're back. It's your friend Will. This is the Memory Lapse, and it's a rainy Friday morning here in Brooklyn. So rainy, in fact, that we didn't go out and get our coffee, so this is going to be even more low energy than usual. And speaking of low energy, we fell back to Gold 2 last night, playing more of the Drake's deck. We just had 4 games in a row where the check lands screwed us over, and not even close, just lost them all. So a couple ideas this morning, and a couple ideas on how to approach ranked as far as the channel is concerned on YouTube. So I think it's going to be, one, it's going to be hard to stick to a deck and play it for like a reasonable number of games. We tried it with Red Deck Wins between streaming and videos, and though I think the experiment was a success, obviously we gained a lot of rank with it and got some good stats out of it. People did not like the videos. I think a lot of people just skipped them when they saw the deck choice, which is not great for me. So I think maybe the videos we're going to focus on more interesting decks, more fun decks, and then when we have extended streaming sessions, we're going to be using those to try to pick a deck and play and really grind. So if we win during these videos, that's going to be great. You know, good job by us. But if we break even or just lose a rank or two, we're not going to sweat it too much. But I also feel like I don't want to be playing the constructed events right now when we have the ladder. So I was kind of deciding between this Omni deck and the Bant Nexus deck, but I actually might want to grind this Nexus deck. So let's try this Omni deck. This is the latest from Ali, and Zealand shared this list with me last night. And so one of the benefits of this, of course, is that we get to play with a sideboard because we were playing Mastermind's Acquisition. And this deck is basically 10 Wraths, 4 Settles, 3 Rituals, 3 Cleansing Nova, a lot of ramp between Gift, Lantern, and Lotus. And then you're just looking to stick an Omni, cast Rituals and Overflowing Insights for free, go to the sideboard, and you can grab any number of ways to win out of the sideboard. You can, I think the primary way to win, and we pulled this off once last night too, is you just go, you get 1,000 Year Storm, play your second tutor. This one gets twin cast by the 1,000 Year Storm. Go get 2 Overflowing Insights. Play an Overflowing Insight. It now has 3 copies, or 2 additional copies on top of the one you played. Make your opponent draw 21, and then the next one makes your opponent draw 28. So you can mill them out easily. Alternatively, you can go and get like Inescapable Blaze and just deal like multiple copies of uncounterable 6 damage to them. If for whatever reason that's not going to work, like maybe they have a Lyra in play, I mean, this still works. I don't know. There's a lot of redundancy here. You can go get Heroic Reinforcements. If you're struggling early game, you know, you can grab a Golden Demise just to clear the board. Profane Procession against matchups, so that's going to be good. Like, I feel like a lot of these things we're probably never going to wish for, but who knows? Like, it's good to have them situationally because we can't use this sideboard normally anyways. So let's just see if we can meme on some people. So I went 1-1 with this last night. Oh, we have Ritual, we have Gift. So we have to hope that if they're a fast deck, then at the very least the Gift will be enough. The life gain will be enough to get us to Ritual here. Dauntless Bodyguard's annoying, but of course not unbeatable. Any Shockland would be sick. Because as it stands, we're not going to be able to Ritual until turn 5. Yeah. Actually, it might be too slow because of these check lands. So are we dead next turn? 3, 6, 9, 10. So we're not technically dead next turn, but we need to find... We need to find a land that comes to play untapped here. Alright, we failed to. Yeah, so we'll scoop. Yeah, so this is a little bit of the problem with the deck, of course, is on the draw with all check lands. I mean, this is the problem we're having with the Drake's deck. Until we have more of the duels, I don't think we can mulligan hands like that. But it's also really hard to keep hands like that. And best of one kind of puts you in that conundrum because mulliganing is really bad in best of one. Like, you don't get the benefit of the algorithm on your second crack at a hand. Like, a hand like this is much better. Of course, obviously, we need our third land here, but at least we know that a majority of our check lands will come into play untapped. This is actually something that Brian Brown Doohan wrote about recently, I think yesterday, in an article he posted about best of one, which is that one of the implications of the algorithm is that depending on the ratio of lands in your deck, it will give you a 3-land all check land hand versus a 4-land one that doesn't have them. Like a 4-land Ritual Soot hand, which I would almost always want to keep, like 4-land Ritual Soot, Chemister of Insight, Gift of Paradise. It'll give me a 3-check land, like double Overflowing Insight, like, awful hand over that, because it just says, oh, well, 3, the average is closer to 3. So I think you see when you're playing these slower control decks that are branching out into multiple colors, so that punish, the potential to be punished like that is there. Alright, so we're in a similar situation in the last game. This is another reason that I've kind of feel like grinding the plat. If I'm not going to play red deck, then I really shouldn't care about getting the plat, because the run of luck I was having last night on hands and then continue to have today, it's just feels like we're no longer whitelisted. Well, we definitely want the Sunpetal Grove, which will allow us to play Gift next turn. I think we just had to put this in the graveyard, so we just need to keep drawing land. I mean, we have a path. We just need to find one of our wraths to help us survive. We're playing the one deck in the format that doesn't have a turn 2 answer to a Runaway Steamkin. Yeah, so I think we're on needing to draw a Wrath next turn. Even if we gain to 11 here. Ideally, we want to be doing things like playing Gilded Lotus, but just the Steamkin itself has applied enough pressure. Sometimes 10 Wraths is not enough, though. Yeah, probably is dead. Yep. On the draw again. There's just another thing that's super punishing about playing these slower decks. Your win rate, it does feel like it drops so dramatically when you're on the draw, because the general speed of the format is so high. No, here we have a lot of untapped lands. We actually have a Wrath this time. We have an Acquisition. Our opponent has double Steamkin. I think this is the same player we just played. I guess playing this will maybe incentivize them to add more to the board. Wow. Sure did. I guess the question is, how hard are they going to play into this? Are they going to play around Settle next turn? It's pretty well disguised. We haven't shown any white land at all. They probably would just read us for Vraska's Contempt here. If they read us for Contempt, I think they just have to swing with everything. Unless they know the list, which is like, I guess, possible. If they don't swing with everything here, we're super trolled. I mean, your opponent plays all this stuff, how can you not just swing out, right? Wow. Okay, I swing with everything but the Phoenix. I can handle that. Okay, I swing with everything. Yes, thank you. This is what you're supposed to do when your opponent has no white lands. Alright. We'll go back to the classic name of the channel is, do they have Banefire? So we pay 3 for the Lantern, and that gives us enough to Chemister's Insight. I guess the question is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So actually, do we just want to acquisition this turn for the Gilded Lotus to get to Omni and win faster? I think we do. I probably should have looked in the sideboard. Maybe there was like a good 7-drop we could have taken from the sideboard. Alright. So it's Omni. Insight. Oh, cancel. I'm just gonna skip there. Fair enough. It may have still taken us a turn or two. So the unfortunate thing about Omni is you can't jumpstart for free. I learned that last night. Is that the cards, it only reduces cards in your hand to 0 or makes them free. So we couldn't like go off there, but alright, so here's an all check land. I think this is when we definitely have to mulligan. Alright. Alright, so the gift will enable us to play a Settle or a Wrath of any kind. We have to just get there, both inlands and drawing the Wraths. All right, maybe we need to switch to Fog. The awkwardness of these really high cost cards, I'm feeling like we're just getting the hands that we're getting dealt are just like so rough. And we're just playing its mono aggro decks at this point too. So I think after this game we'll end the video and switch to Fog and try to get in like a good number of Fog games. And then hopefully I'll be back from work early today. And we'll have a nice like music stream in the afternoon. Maybe just playing Fog. Yeah, they're just playing into it. So if we draw a Settle, we're in a nice spot. How much damage are we taking this turn? How much are we taking next turn? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we take 6 down to 12. Wow, okay. You just can't do anything. Alright, so that's it. This deck was obviously awful. I think just given the metagame and given our luck with hands, you know, maybe this deck is actually fine if we played 100 games with it, but there's just so many check lands in it. A lot of the hands you get just look really, really bad. So rather than spew even more rating, I will switch over to the Bant Nexus deck, which seems really well positioned. I might want to think about this Gaia's Blessing and whether or not we want it. I think we might not want it. Like we probably don't want it. Probably just want another. Oh, God. Just want another pause. All right, so yeah, stay tuned for that. We'll be back in a couple hours with the Bant Nexus deck. So, yep, gave the Omni deck a shot. The hands are just too miserable. But another deck to file away, like the 3-color Phoenix deck, for when we get to replace some of these like awkward check lands with more shock lands. I think this core idea of, and I think we'd probably want to play a 4th Lantern too, to smooth it out. But the idea of just playing a ton of Wraths and ramp, in theory, seems good into all these creature decks. The issue is just that when you can't play your turn 4 Wrath spell until turn 6 because your lands are coming into play taps, it's just not going to work. And the inconsistency just seems way too high for this format. So file it away for late January when we get those lands. So yeah, that's it for this one. You probably didn't enjoy, but you know, I had to put it up anyways. And we're back again soon with Nexus.